Today we'll be reading The Lion King. The Lion King. The hot African sun rose over the plains. It was a special day for the animals of the Pride Lands. That day they would celebrate the birth of King Mufasa's son, Simba. A line of mighty elephants thundered across the dry ground, trumpeting with joy. Cheetahs and zebras followed. Brightly colored birds soared above them, swooping and turning on the breeze. No one, from the smallest ant to the tallest giraffe, wanted to miss such an important moment. High above on Pride Rock, King Mufasa and Queen Sarabi watched as Rafiki, the wise baboon, presented their newborn son to the kingdom. The animals cheered and bowed before Prince Simba. But not everyone was happy about the birth of a new prince. In a cave at the backside of Pride Rock, a scraggly lion with a dark mane paced back and forth. This was Scar, the king's brother. Scar had just caught a mouse when Zazu, the king's advisor, appeared at the doorway to the cave. He was there to warn Scar that Mufasa was coming to see him. "Sarabi and I didn't see you at the presentation of Simba," Mufasa said when he appeared. "You are the king's brother," Zazu said. "You should have been first in line." "I was first in line until the little hairball was born," Scar growled, and with a snap of his jaws, Scar stalked out of the cave. Simba grew into a strong cub. Early one morning, he and Mufasa climbed to the top of Pride Rock. "Look, Simba," Mufasa said. "Everything the light touches is our kingdom." Simba scanned the horizon and noticed a dark spot in the distance. "What about that shadowy place?" he asked. "That's beyond our borders. You must never go there," Mufasa answered. Later, as Simba headed home, he ran into Scar. "Hey, Uncle Scar," he shouted. "Guess what? My dad just showed me the whole kingdom." Scar looked slyly at the young cub. "He didn't show you what's beyond that rise at the northern border?" "Well, no, he said I can't go there," Simba answered. "And he's absolutely right," Scar said. "An elephant graveyard is no place for a young prince." Simba thought an elephant graveyard sounded like an amazing place to visit. He couldn't wait to find his best friend Nala and tell her all about it. When Simba returned home, he found Nala visiting with Sarabi. "Can Nala and I go and play?" Simba asked. Sarabi agreed, as long as Zazu went with the cubs. Soon Simba and Nala were racing across the Pride Lands. They led Zazu through herds of animals until they lost him. Finally, they arrived at the elephant graveyard. Suddenly, 3 hyenas slithered out of an elephant's skull. Just as they were about to attack the young cubs, Mufasa appeared and sent them flying. The hyenas slinked away and Mufasa glared at Simba. "I'm very disappointed in you," he told his son. "You deliberately disobeyed me." Simba peered up at his father. "I was just trying to be brave like you," he said. "Being brave doesn't mean you go looking for trouble," Mufasa answered. "Dad, we're pals, right? And we'll always be together, right?" Simba asked. Mufasa looked up at the stars. "Simba, let me tell you something that my father told me. Look at the stars. The great kings of the past looked down on us from these stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that these kings will always be there to guide you, and so will I." The following day, Scar invited Simba to join him in the gorge. "Now you wait here," he told his nephew. "Your father has a marvelous surprise for you." Leaving the young prince alone, Scar signaled the hyenas, who chased a herd of wildebeest into the gorge. From a distance, Mufasa noticed the rising dust. Suddenly, Scar appeared at his side. "Stampede! In the gorge!" he shouted. "Simba's down there!" Mufasa plunged into the gorge. He quickly found Simba and helped him into a nearby ledge, but there were too many wildebeest, and Mufasa was knocked back into the stampede. "Brother, help me!" he shouted to Scar, but Scar just watched Mufasa fall. Later, when the animals had passed, Simba stood over his father's body. "It was an accident! I didn't mean for it to happen!" he